and we're diving into distracted driving this afternoon.
There have certainly been a lot of wrong-way crashes on Connecticut roads, along with pedestrian accidents as well. And here to talk more about this is lawyer Twillie from LA Law. So thank you so much for joining us. It's certainly been in the news. I mean, the tragic death of Representative Williams in a wrong-way crash. We've had 23 in the last year.
Yeah, 23 or 24 in the last year, which is more than the 4 or 5 years, or just as many as the 4 or 5 years, previous years combined, which is crazy.
Do you think people have just forgotten how to drive, or you say 80% of them are impaired?
Yeah, so there was a study by the Connecticut Department of Transportation that indicated that 80% of these wrong-way death crashes involve alcohol or some other sort of substance. So,
which is not good.
Yeah, it's not good. And I think
there needs to be a change in our culture. And just we need to get this point out there that this is not acceptable.
No, it's not acceptable. There are things that we can do about it. I mean, obviously, if you're out drinking with friends, rideshare, easy peasy. The restaurants, the bars, they need to train their staffs to recognize impairment.
Right.
And maybe hire a rideshare for those people.
It's a whole other issue because I know police are concerned about now that marijuana has become legal to some extent in Connecticut. But the distracted driving, you may not be impaired, but texting or anything like that makes you just as much as being impaired.
Right. GPS. I mean, how many times have I been using my GPS to try and find a location that I didn't know, and it looks like I'm supposed to turn here, and I start to turn and I realize, oh no, I'm not supposed to turn, right. Yeah, I can't turn here. It's wrong way street or something like that. One way. Yeah. So, just awareness that, you can't always rely on technology. Awareness about, being impaired while driving, whether it's drugs or alcohol. Like, be aware, make smarter choices.
Be aware, make smarter choices. Yeah. Go ahead, Karen.
Well, if you're in one of these accidents, then what's your advice? If you got hit by I always wonder if a distracted driver is, how do you prove that they were texting? Or if you're a pedestrian, I guess the law is almost always on your side.
Yeah, I mean, the law is almost always on your side now, for sure. If you're hit, let's say you're a passenger.
Yep.
All right?
You just got picked up one of these cases,
right?
Yeah.
Guys getting a ride home from work, first day on the job, getting a ride home, guy left turns, gets into a really bad accident. Oh. The driver flees.
No way.
Yeah. The driver flees, and what happens, my guy is bleeding from his face, he's got dislocated knees, got all kinds of injuries, and the police handcuff him.
No way.
Yeah, for 25 minutes. 25 minutes, handcuffed him. Ambulance is there, they never actually gave him a ride to the hospital. He had to get his own ride to the hospital.
Oh my gosh, and he was the victim, yeah. Okay.
So we're working on that, we're working through that, but call a lawyer.
Call a lawyer.
Call a lawyer. Get your medical treatment, call a lawyer. We'll sift through all the mess for you so that you can just focus on getting healthy.
Do you handle just personal injury, or for the most part?
Family and friends, we do a couple other things for, but personal injury is what I primarily practice in now.
So is there something you should do if you're able and you suspect you were rear-ended or hit or anything by someone who was texting? Is there some way you can preserve that or prove it?
Tell the police on the scene. Say, hey, I looked in the rearview mirror right before the accident, the person's head was down.
Okay.
Or a couple lights before, I saw they were doing this thing, I saw they were doing this thing, the next thing you know, we're getting hit.
Right.
And then law enforcement should ask the proper questions when they're doing their investigation to see if the at-fault driver will fess up to it.
Can they pull the records?
Well, I mean, we can if it gets into litigation. It's very murky, but it can be done.
And we saw
get a court order.
A couple of pedestrian accidents in West Hartford in the past couple of weeks, too. You say the law is always typically on the pedestrian side?
Yeah, it is now, especially with the law that says that a pedestrian can just sort of indicate that they don't have to be in a crosswalk, but they can indicate that they're going to go across the street and you have to stop for them, even if you have a green light. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Getting complicated.
It is. That's why you get a lawyer.
That's right. Lawyer Twillie.
And you're available on lots of platforms. So if you want to call him, you can. If you want to visit LALawCT.com, follow on Facebook or on Instagram, which is Get LA Law. In a little bit from now, you can check on our Facebook page, too, because we're going to get a little deeper dive into this. But I know you answer all the questions. So thanks so much.